What's good, YouTube? Today we got a special video, my first ever tier list, and we are doing an NFL mid-season review. So let's go ahead and get started with my New York Football Giants. I'm going to go ahead and put them at an A. I expect them to win the Super Bowl this year. I put it in a video right here. The Giants are going to win the Super Bowl. Next up, we got the Washington football team, or the Washington Commanders, my bad. They're a terrible team nonetheless, so Daniel Snyder needs to sell the team. They're just hectic. Next up, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or the Succaneers this year. Even though they have Tom Brady, I'm going to go ahead and put them at a C. The season can go either which way. Do they want to be bumped up, or are they going to let Tom Brady go out sad? Let me know in the comment section below what you think is going to happen. Next up, we got the New England Patriots. I'm going to go ahead and put them at a C, even though they should be at a D, because a wise man once said in the NFL, if you have a two-quarterback system, you have no quarterback. And that's what it appears to be in New England. You got Mac Jones taking on Bailey Zappi for the starting position. So next up, we got the Bengals. I'm going to go ahead and put them in the B tier. And they have the weapons to be an A tier. You know, they just haven't won too many games. They started off on a losing streak. So I'm going to give them their respect and put them at a B. But I do know that they could be an A. My first S tier team is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes has just shown you why he is arguably the best quarterback in the NFL. They are sitting at the top of their division, throwing touchdowns, making plays, doing Patrick Mahomes things, and he's on my fantasy football team, so I'm going to go ahead and put him on S tier. Next up, we got the Carolina Panthers. If Baker Mayfield's your starting quarterback, you're automatically terrible, and he was their starting quarterback. Next up, I'm going to go the Jets. They're the Jets. The Detroit Lions, they're the Detroit Lions. I was on the bandwagon when they won their first game, only because I have Amari St. Brown on my fantasy football team and he took off that game. The Green Bay Packers, they're terrible. Texans are terrible. They're basically losing out for a high draft pick. You got the Colts. They're terrible. They traded for Matt Ryan. He's washed, as we can clearly see. Let's go ahead and move on to the Jacksonville Jags. Duval. They're a young, feisty team. They can go any which way. They're still in the mix. They've won a couple impressive games, and I like to see what they can do by the end of the season. I'm going to go ahead and put the San Diego Chargers at a B tier. Justin Herbert and that offense, they're winning games, and they just got to prove to me if they deserve to be in the A tier or not. Next up, we have the San Francisco 49ers, and I'm putting them as an A tier because that trade for Christian McCaffrey was perfect match made in heaven. He was born to play in the Shanahan system. First game or second game, he had 3 touchdowns, a trifecta. So it doesn't get better than that. The LA Rams, I'm going to go ahead and put them at the C tier. They're a big disappointment. Even though they won the Super Bowl last year, they're just looking beat up and rough. Even though some would say they are injury prone, let's see how they do the rest of the season. The Raiders, they're terrible. Terrible. Biggest overhyped disappointment this year. They traded for Devontae Adams. They were expected to do big things, and they do have the weapons to be an A tier team, but that record, bro, come on. D. The Miami Dolphins. Weapons galore. Weapons go crazy. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, the running back system, Gesicki, you name it. Plus that defense, had to put them at an A. The only thing that is stopping them from being an S tier, in my opinion, is I'm not too sold on Tua's arm. I understand he's putting up the numbers, but they're like dink and dunks. They're like drags, and Tyreek Hill takes it to the crib 70, 80 yards. Like, he's not throwing bombs, he's not throwing them deep passes. If he could show me that arm strength is there, I don't mind putting them at an S tier because they got weapons like that. The Baltimore Ravens, I'm going to go ahead and put at a B tier solely because against the Dolphins, they were up, and against the Giants, they were up both in the fourth quarter, and they lost, which says something. But they do have Lamar Jackson, which automatically puts them at a B. Mark Andrews should bump them up to an A, plus that defense, but they just haven't been winning games, and that record has been dropping them down to a B. The Dallas Cowboys, I'm going to go ahead and put them at an A. They're the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not going to say anything. The defense is really good. That's all I'm going to say about them because I'm a Giants fan. Next up, we have the Atlanta Falcons. They're terrible solely because of this picture right here. Let me know in the comment section below if you've seen that picture. The Arizona Cardinals. They should be at a D, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt because DeAndre Hopkins was suspended for 6 games. But we all know Kyler Murray doesn't watch film. Yeah, I didn't say it. They did. It was put in the contract. They removed it, though, because everybody was hating on it. Everybody was talking about it. Next up, we got the Browns. They have the weapons to be a B team. With Deshaun Watson in the mix, they could even be an A team. But that record, we'll see how they're looking around week 11 to see if I would bump them up to a B or if I would drop them down to D, especially if they keep losing. The Steelers, shout out my boy Grant. I'm going to go ahead and have to put them at a D. They're in the race for a high draft pick. Let me know in the comment section below if you think Tom Coughlin will get fired. Seattle Seahawks, got to put them at an A. Geno Smith, he saw all the receipts, but what'd he do? He didn't write back. He said it, not me. Saints. I'm going to go ahead and put out a C, treating them like the Arizona Cardinals. They've been injury prone. They have the weapons. Jameis has been hurt. Michael Thomas has been hurt. Chris Olivier has been hurt. But all of them together, they can make some noise. The Minnesota Vikings, I'm going to go ahead and put out a B, but they do have the weapons to be an A-tier team. I do see that. Next up, we got the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to go ahead and put them at an A. Haha. So my second S-tier team, the Buffalo Bills. Offense, dynamic. Defense, top 5. What more do I have to say? I'll go Bears. I'm going to go ahead and put at a C tier. Justin Fields doing his thing, and they're on the winning streak, and they just traded for Chase Claypool, so they look like they're on the up and up. I think the Giants should have traded for Chase Claypool or a receiver, but they didn't. So the Tennessee Titans, I'm going to go ahead and put them at a C. I'm a little iffy about them. You know, all they can really do is run, plus they're injury prone. Let's see how Malik Willis does. See if he can get them a couple wins, and if he does get them a couple wins, does he finish the season as a starter? And if so, what does that say about Ryan Tannehill? Last, but certainly not least, Broncos country. Let's ride. I'm going to go ahead and put them at a D, though. They are overhyped. This is another team, along with the Raiders, that I had high expectations for, especially when they got Russell Wilson and the weapons that they have. Plus, that is a top 10 defense. That is all I got to say. Here's my tier list. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. And actually, looking at it, I'm going to go ahead and change this and make them in S tier solely because the Eagles are 8-0, and I know that in the comment section, bro, man, the Eagles are 8-0, give them their respect. I will. They're the only undefeated team, so I will put them at an S tier. It doesn't look like they have any weaknesses, and that wide receiving core has got swag. Batman's everywhere, but I do see them losing to the Giants. Peace.